In this video, I'm going to go over the timesheet options in the time entry and timesheets add-on. The first option is whether you want to have your timesheets auto-approved or by timesheets in a 1 or 2 tier option. We normally by default just auto-approve timesheets, which means when someone submits a timesheet, it's automatically approved. If you want your team members to get their timesheets approved by a manager, you should choose by timesheets, 1 tier, and approver only. This is the simplest, best timesheet approval option. For more advanced options, our consultants can help you decide how to do it. There's a couple other options after that now, or several more. Single timesheet per period. This will basically force only 1 timesheet in the timesheet period. If you uncheck this box, then you can have more than 1 timesheet in a timesheet period, like normally a week is a timesheet period. This option turns on the ability to submit the timesheet from the time entry grid. If you turn it off, then they can't submit the time. Your team members have to go to the time entry home in order to submit a timesheet. I recommend leaving this on. The default is a timesheet every week, but we also let you do every semi-month or bi-monthly. So the default is each week. This sets up what day of the week do you start. Your timesheets, our default is Sunday, but some people like Monday to be the week start. These 3 options here, timesheet minimum daily hours, and timesheet maximum hours, allows you to make sure that your team members put in a certain number of hours to submit a timesheet, have a certain number of hours. So in this case, minimum number of hours. Let's say they have to have 30 hours in a week. Then you would check this box and define 30 hours in a week. You can override this default value by setting a default minimum on a per user basis on their user profile settings. So in this case, this would be our default is everyone has to have 30 hours by minimum. If you want something different than that, you can go onto each individual user's profile and specify 20 hours or 40 hours or whatever that team member needs to do. This option has a minimum hours per day. So if you need to have your team members that put in at least 6 hours per day, you could do this. Again, this value can be overridden by the person's profile. And here's a maximum per day. So these options allow you to force someone to have a time sheet that looks a certain way. Lockdown. This allows you to actually lock time entries past a certain time. So let's say you make sure you don't want time entries to be modified after 5 days have passed. You can lock them down by week or by day. This is really not something that most clients of ours use, but some do use it, especially if they're going to transfer data out of Project Insight into some other system. So this is a way for you to tailor a lockdown period. You can talk to our consultants about setting that up if you need more information there. So down here below, these are basically these 4 options: allow timesheet, custom submit dates, custom name, filter for timesheet submission. These are all off by default. If you turn them on, it lets your users have a few more options when submitting timesheets. I don't recommend you do that because normally you should just submit your timesheet to your manager and not worry about trying to just put all your time entries in a week and have it go to your manager. So these are useful if you have multiple timesheets going on where you need to break them down by client or by company. It's not something that is normally used very often. Down here, enable approver selections. This allows the user to change who their timesheet approver is. This is kind of useful for when a manager might be out of the office and they need to submit it to a different person. If you uncheck the box, then the team member can only submit the timesheet to their default approver. And the default approver for each team member is on their user profile. And these last 2 options of unlocking timesheets and resetting the download date. These are options really important for mostly integrations. Once the timesheet is locked, normally you can't change anything on the timesheet, but this lets you turn this on and then gives the person who's a system admin and an invoice manager the ability to go and unlock a timesheet that was locked. Normally the locking and downloading is done programmatically through the API so that team members can't lock them because we push something to an accounting system or other external system. So that's what that feature is for. But there are situations where you need to go and make an adjustment, and this lets you do that. But otherwise, these should just stay off by default. So this is a quick overview of all of the timesheet configuration options. Please contact our support or your consultant, your onboarding consultant, if you have more advanced questions than were covered by this video.